Okay, mission statement of SFX Group. We are here to create the greatest group of professional traders compiled in the world. We work tirelessly every day to improve our individual selves and push each other to get the most out of one another. With each individual's personal accountability, 100% effort, and consistent action towards focusing on our controllables, we will each reach our full potential individually and as a family. Pledge. I, Stefanos, pledge to be the best version of myself today, to do whatever it takes to be the greatest trader that I can be, and to be the most self-disciplined person that I know. I will do the things I have to do today, regardless of how I feel, one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, and 1 minute at a time. I will control what I can control and not worry about anything else. Reminders. We do not overtrade. We do not over-risk. You don't need to catch a trade today. Be edge and system focused. 1 to 2 trade ideas per day, maybe 3 if you see a perfect setup. It's got to be a perfect setup. Capital preservation over capital appreciation. Yes, we want to grow our accounts, but focus on risk management and make that your #1 priority first. Keep your trading plan in front of you. Read it before each session. I know that goes very overlooked for a lot of you guys. You may feel like you don't need to, but there's a lot of things you guys may be missing on your trades, especially if you're writing through the description section on Trello. You're seeing that, damn, I missed what the hour looked like. I missed the 4-hour flipping. I missed, this and that. Make sure you're running through that checklist that you guys are looking through until it's part of your subconscious mind and you no longer have to look at that trading plan every single day. I know you feel like you don't need to do it right now, but it's only going to help, and it only takes maybe a minute. Stack smart decisions today, right? Trade what you see, not what you think. We are system oriented. Now, how much money can I make on this trade? Think longevity, think efficiency, think long term. We aren't here just to make as much as we can this week. We're here to learn, and we're here to become better traders over the course of our lives. And if you want to look at that line, we aren't here to make as much as we can this week. We are here to make as much as we can this year, right? So you want to focus on the year. You want to focus on the month and see how well you can do this year, without jeopardizing anything for the year, and focus on the day. When you're focusing on the day and making sure that you're sticking to your rules and controlling what you can control, the year gets a lot better. The month gets a lot better. The week gets a lot better. Finally, have a sense of urgency with your daily musts. Get those done as quickly as possible, but efficiently. And then eliminate excuses and any victim mindset. Full accountability for your actions and decisions. You are here because of your actions. You're here because of your thoughts, and you're here because of your decisions. All right. So looking at the economic calendar, very light day today, right? We got a Canadian bank holiday over here. You got consumer confidence coming out of Europe at 10 a.m. But some of the focuses for the week over here, we're going to be having flash manufacturing PMI coming out for many of the Western economies over here. You have U.S. new home sales coming out. We have NZD retail sales coming out this tomorrow. And we also have monetary policy statement coming out of NZD. So it looks like they're going to be raising by another 25 basis points. That's expected. I'm sure they will as well. But then moving into Wednesday, you got GBP CPI coming out and PPI, input and output, coming out of Great Britain. So that'll be a nice volume mover for you guys on Wednesday during the London session. If you guys are watching it, I think Quentin would probably be the only one doing so that's here right now. German IFO business climate. Bailey's going to be speaking. He's got the Net Zero Delivery Summit in London going on Wednesday. So we'll see what he has to say about monetary policy and the current outlook of the economy. Let's see. You got Yellen speaking. That'll be important. And then FOMC meeting minutes. This is going to be a big focus for the week over here, 2 p.m. on Wednesday, to see where Powell is. And we're going to talk about some of the statements Powell was giving on Friday over here that kind of rattled the markets a little bit, but gave some good insight for June and the rate hikes during June. Looking at Thursday, you got German GDP coming out. You got U.S. prelim GDP, very important. Unemployment claims coming out of the U.S. You got U.S. penny home sales coming out. You also have Tokyo core CPI coming out on Thursday as well. So we already see a lot of fundamentals and a lot of economic data coming out that could give us some good volume this week. And then on Friday, we got retail sales coming out of Great Britain during London. And then you also have the main focus of the week, other than FOMC meeting minutes and the debt ceiling talks when it comes to the US. This is going to be a very important scale to see where our inflation is sitting at over here. They're expecting it to stay the same, right? No increase over here for core PCE. Durable goods is coming out at the same time, so that'll be adding some more volume to that as well. And then later on, you got revised University of Michigan consumer sentiment and inflation expectations coming out of the US. All right, so action-packed week. We got a lot of things going on, but today might be that day that you may want to sit on your hands. But let's trade what we see, not what we think. We think that there will be low volume, but we may see a good setup that we may want to lower our risk on, if anything, today. All right, so key headlines for the week. Someone in the chat. Got a little setup going on? Or is this just another example? GJ's breaking out over here. So GJ, I would probably wait for that candle to close above that area. Let's go down the lower time frames. Sitting right at 172 over here. So very critical level. I would obviously move this right here. Thank you for pointing that out, Quentin. Okay, we got a very strong close over here. What does this actually look like? What day did we get very similar price action over here? You guys remember? Wasn't too long ago. You're looking at it.
All right.
Put some gel in my hair.
You're kind of laggy right now. What you said?
I'm lagging?
A little bit. No,
Okay.
not anymore. Not anymore.
I was saying, what does this price action look like compared to recent history?
On GJ.
Did we get a very similar setup recently?
I think on was it last Monday?
How about last Friday?
Yeah, actually.
More specifically, right here. Right. So, is Monday giving us some good volume? Is there optimism in the market based on what I'm about to tell you guys? Now, right over here, very strong bullish candle close over here. This candle is actually doing the same exact thing that it did right over here, right? Barely a top wick on that candle, closed almost the same size, same way, right? Other than the bottom wick, but that doesn't really matter. And this candle is just taking off over here, right? Now, you do have a level that we could end up rejecting over here that you may want to be cautious about. And then also, if you were to enter this, you would have to probably put your stop loss below that 30-minute candle, and now you're expecting to take that entire thing up. Is that necessarily our setup? Not mine personally. I could see this playing out. This is something I'd be live back testing, right? But I'm not in the business of just jumping into trades on Monday just to jump into them, right? We haven't even done our full breakdown yet together. What I would be interested in is to see some kind of a maybe a close above that area and price holding support just like this. And maybe we could possibly grab this. But what actually happened on Friday that we called to a T? Now, could we have gotten this move 100%? The range was a little small. This was only around 18 pips, but could have grabbed this right over here based on the 15-minute. Got that break and retest on the 15-minute, beautiful. And this is exactly what I talk about when I say you get that impulsive move up, you get the consolidation, and then price, or the correction real quick, and then price gives you the exact same move on the other side of that ended up happening right there. But right over here, we were looking at, okay, could we possibly grab like, the break and retest right over here? But we said that at some point, being that it's Friday, this weekly candle, this daily candle can only close so strong. What I can end up seeing here is price closing below this area, right? And then giving us a fake out and continuing back down. And look what it did. I said, I don't know if it's going to be able to retest that low over here, but it ended up doing so. Ended up coming down this morning. right back down to that level. So again, a lot of banks trapped a lot of buyout, or not buyout, breakout buyers over here, trying to like hop in the market because they were missing out on that move. And then all of a sudden it trapped a lot of people, took a lot of people out over here, and then took them out right here actually, and continue right back down. Now there wasn't much of an entry here on the 15-minute. You see the 30-minute. Yeah, to capitalize on the fake out right over here, didn't really have much of an entry, right? That was a pretty strong 30-minute bullish close. So if you were to take the impulse and move right here, it is a little risky, but that goes right back to that fake out, knowing that price could very well continue down if you get some kind of a close below this level here with a stop loss here or up here. But again, we already took the gold sells. I wasn't about to jump into something like this over here. But if you got a better entry, which if it gave you an entry, didn't really give you an entry here, this would have been a great move to capitalize on that fake out. You guys remember us talking about this?
Yeah.
So let's go. We're going to keep 172 there. We're going to break everything down. Looking like the monthly over here, there is optimism in the market, which is what I wanted to go over. So we'll keep that sitting right there. What is this? Okay. So on Friday over here, the U.S. debt ceiling, right? Negotiations kind of came to a halt on Friday. A lot of pessimism, a lot of, pointing fingers going on Friday when it comes to the Fed, and not the Fed, but Congress and the White House. Biden pointing fingers like he pretty much always does. And then you got Congress and McCarthy pointing fingers at them as well, saying that they're being unreasonable. You never really know in politics. It's a dirty game, but this also caused the dollar to correct from its recent highs, right? We were holding that major support on the dollar. We go back and look at it, holding that major support over here. Friday ended up giving us that bearish close, right? Nice breakout over here, continuing up. And then Friday, we got that bearish close over there. Gold rallied a little bit, but let's see, where are we? Over here. So now also over the weekend here, heading into today, we've had a little optimism in the market. It seems like they're coming together today to meet. We'll see where that ends up, but I think they both know what's on the table here, and they know the catastrophic waves that this would cause in any kind of market, and also throughout the entire world if this ended up happening. So they need to come together and do this. Now also on FOMC and Powell on Friday, pretty much at the same time, he noted on Friday that the policy rates might not need to raise as high as they initially thought to bring down inflation. But he was very mixed over here, wasn't ruling out another hike. Says current data suggests that reducing inflation will take time. Chances of another hike next month. Oh, this is interesting. Chances of another hike next month has gone from close to 0% in the beginning of May 5th, to about 15% on May 12th, to then around 40% last week. And now, after Powell's comments, and we'll see after the FOMC meeting minutes this week, the chances are now around like 20% that they're going to raise rates in June. I personally think that they will. Got to trade what we see, but I do think that they will increase rates one more time in June, and then that'll be it. But I don't think that they're going to continue to, or they're going to reverse the track that they're on right now, and they're going to start to reduce rates towards the end of this year. I don't really see that happening unless something crazy ends up happening. But the week ahead, like I said, FOMC meeting minutes over here is going to be really the focus, and then also what PCE is going to be coming out on Friday when it comes to our inflation, right? So looking at our charts over here now, again, as you guys see, GJ, really the previous monthly candle closed a strong bullish candle, kind of above that resistance over here to the left, right? Bottom wick form, we come all the way back down to 168, and now we're flipping bullish, breaking through 172 currently, right? And I have a couple levels over here marked off that will be our next target. But looking at the weekly now, this is exactly how we said the weekly would close, right? This is why I predicted that fake out on Friday, because this weekly candle needs to create that top wick. I didn't think we were going to close above 172 last week. And the reason why we didn't as well was because of, all the pessimism and basically the White House and Congress not going anywhere caused some fear in the market on Friday and towards the end of the week, or towards, going into the weekend. And that's where you got this retracement over here. But we did get a very strong weekly close. Next weekly candle creating that bottom wick, flip bullish already, and now we're heading up. So now if you look at the daily over here, daily looks beautiful. Now the daily could easily break through this wick over here, especially if they come together and we got some positive talks going on with the White House and Congress. We could very well break through that area and continue up and create a new high over here on the daily today. But again, we have a low economic calendar week. We've got a lot of things coming out for Great Britain when it comes to data coming out. So, we'll see how far this thing goes on a Monday. But it does look very strong right now, right? What I could see it doing is closing something like this, right? And then tomorrow we get that bottom wick formed and continue right back up, holding 172 as a support. So now looking at the 4 hour, 4 hours really bouncing off this area over here. Every single time we bounce off this area, holding that support, we're getting these hard, impulsive moves up. Strong, impulsive moves up from that support. Strong, impulsive move up from that support, right? So now this 4 hour candle, it would probably be best for us if this thing closes with a top wick and pulls down into that area, but closes above 172, 100. If it does so, we could very well grab that next 4 hour candle and continue this thing up. If you look at the 1 hour now, we're now breaking through that level. Nice move over here, breaking that resistance. Same exact setup almost as we got over here. You'll see it on the lower time frame like we went over, but nice bounce off that area. Now, now we talk about consolidation over here. Quentin, you there?
Yeah.
So consolidation, what's the premise behind it? Is the market really trending in the direction, or is price just like sitting in a consolidation? That's an easy answer.
You mean here?
No, I'm just saying typical consolidation.
Oh, well, like it's a range, but
It's a range, right?
Yeah, it can be printed in a higher time frame trend or in a higher time frame range too.
So typically the whole premise behind a consolidation is if the higher time frames are ranging, it's very difficult to trade on the lower time frames. But are the higher time frames ranging on GJ right now?
Not really. They're trending rather up.
Right? So we are creating higher highs here.
Yep.
Right? So we created the higher high and we're respecting the low that we created over here. So these are the consolidations that you could possibly trade within, right? Like not the ones that are ranging on the higher time frames like gold was a couple weeks ago, and also ranging on the lower time frames. Very difficult to trade in that area. Sometimes if you see price rejecting a resistance really hard in the past for the same resistance, sometimes you can take advantage of that like we did on gold. But right now, price is really trending up, right? And also we're respecting this support over here. So what you want to do in these consolidations is just pay attention to what has happened in the past, right? Now, the only time that you could trade these consolidations are from the support or from the resistance in the downtrend, right? You do not want to be trading right over here. You do not want to be taking a trade right over here most of the time. Sometimes, you have like a candle like this on the 1 hour closing right here above that resistance right over there at 7 a.m. You could possibly put your stop loss below that area because it closed a strong bullish candle with a wick to fill. So stop loss right over here. These are the only times I could really see you trading inside that consolidation in the middle of the area. But there's a lot of times where you can capitalize, especially off after looking at the previous price action, which is probably one of the most important parts of this, is just studying the previous candles and how we had a fake out over here on Friday. We pulled back, pretty much retesting the lows over here that were formed, pulled back to this area to create that lower high, and then we continued down in kind of a consolidating manner, coming all the way back down to this area. But more importantly, got that strong bearish candle close, but barely a bottom wick. Right, so there's not much area that we could continue down. Like after a close like that, it's like, okay, I need to see a close below 171, 200 before I could take any kind of sells. And this candle proves that point. You just got a doji at that candle. And then after this, you end up getting that bullish candle close with a wick to fill. You got to lower your risk where you can enter something like this. But I would put my stop loss below that doji candle, which would also be below these wicks over here to the left. And that's how you could potentially grab that move to retest the high. Make sense?
Yeah.
So I don't expect you to always be capitalizing on these. Like, these are more difficult and a little bit more risky because you are typically within a range, but these are things that you should be able to catch, especially when the price action is this clean over here, during early pre-New York over here, right? So you could very well end up capitalizing on that, especially with a little bit more optimism in the market heading into Monday here with the debt ceiling talks. So looking right over here, that's your next resistance from 171 or 172, 100. Got about 35 pips in there. So you can very well catch something in that area. But remember, this area was a previous resistance, and that area got faked out on Friday, right? So can we hold a solid support over here to continue this up? Can we grab a very similar move that we got right over here, right? Bottom wick formed on the 1 hour, past the high of the previous candle. Can we take advantage of that? Or do you want to wait for the classic break and retest, support to hold, just like we did on the 30-minute right over here? You want to wait for something like this to continue that up? Possibly. So we'll see what we end up getting over here as far as the close is concerned. 15-minute candle just closed. Strong 15-minute candle, right? But what I would want to see, this is your move right here. If you were to grab this, 15-minute gave you like a little break and retest over here, right? Support formed, bouncing off a very strong supply zone, right? Or demand zone. And now price is pushing up. It gave you that higher low. You could very well take this up. If you're not comfortable with that, you could take it after this candle closed bullish. This one created that bottom wick past the high of that area right there, and now price is pushing up. But how overextended is this single move right here? Pretty overextended, right? It's due for something like this right now, somewhere over here. And that's what I would want to take. I want to make sure that we're holding some kind of a support instead of trying to buy the high here and getting trapped like a lot of people did trying to buy over here. Okay. So again, Monday is that day where you don't really want to force anything. I would love price to actually pull back into this area too, right? And even deeper pullback to then take this thing back up. But we could very well end up holding a support, and then your demand zone is anywhere in this area. Price could pull back anywhere into that area and then continue right back up. We'll see. And again, this is really based on the daily here. The way the previous daily candle did close bearish last week to end the week, right? But it was because of fundamentals, right? A lot of fear in the market at that point. And also a lot of people taking profit too, right? So it was technicals. But now we've created that bottom wick here in the current daily candle, flip bullish. How many times have we seen price hold the support in an area like this and give you certain price action like this, and then price continues right back up from there? And again, don't forget, this could not happen today, right? We could get a strong daily candle close just like that with that top wick. Next one creates this bottom wick and then pass the high, and tomorrow is your trade. And tomorrow just so happens to be a big PMI day, right? You got flash manufacturing and services PMI. PMI data coming out of Europe is going to be very important because they started off the quarter. They started off the year pretty strong with PMIs, and now they're starting to decline a little bit. But we got flash manufacturing PMI coming out for Great Britain tomorrow. Is it coming out today? No. I think there's just like a lot of buyers from this area down here, right? A lot of sellers taking profit, buyers jumping in, taking over, and we're getting that another higher low being formed here to continue this up. What's up, Serge?
Hi guys.
Happy Monday, my man.
Yeah, thank you. Happy Monday. Been busy morning, so
Yes.
can't join you earlier.
It's all good, man. Hit the gym this morning?
Started listening to the book you sent Serge the other day. It's pretty nice. The one I don't remember the name, but
Daily Trading Coach.
yeah, exactly. That's pretty
I
interesting.
almost like that better than Trading in the Zone.
I think it's more up to date and more like trading in the zone has been like quite old, I think.
I mean, not a lot has changed though. Like the psychology is still the same with Trading in the Zone, but it's one of those generic. It's like Rich Dad Poor Dad. Like everyone's read it.
Yeah, kind
you know,
of.
we're on to the next one, and this is again, like you said, a little bit more up to date. It's a great read.
And there is more details and more kind of techniques how to deal every day, not like in general.
More practical advice. A lot of it we use.
Yeah.
But looking over here again, we went back to the lower time. We did the higher time frames, lower time frames. Now we're back up to the higher time frames. How much would you like to see this 4-hour candle close like this? Right? Next one creates that bottom wick, past the high, continues this thing right up. And that could be that scalp turned into an intraday trade that we could possibly take today. Looking at the 1 hour over here, it's going to be closing in the next 10 minutes. 30-minute over here, very strong. But again, like I said, like it may be due for a pullback here. And it's not guaranteed to retest this high either today, right? So let's see any kind of support formed over here so that we have a decent stop loss, and then we can take this thing up. This will be nice. Just this. Quinn, how far in it are you?
I listened to an hour and a half, I think.
You're doing, I think you were telling me that you like the idea of reading along with listening to it.
I didn't say that, but
Oh.
Well, it
Maybe
was
someone
me,
else
not you.
That was
I
you,
don't think we
Serge?
discussed that.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So that's GJ. I'm just waiting on some kind of a pullback here, and then we could possibly take this out with New York volume. Again, it's Monday, so just keep in mind not much economic volume going on today, or data. So maybe we won't get a trade, but I think we will. Looking at gold now. Gold really coming down from 2000 and 2075, all in this area over here. The monthly candle has flipped bearish here. So where are we going to go from here? Are we going to hold that resistance? Where is the weekly candle? Okay, the weekly candle gave us a very strong close. Beautiful close. Rejected our area up here that we keep talking about. You got that resistance right over here at 2020. Very strong level. And now where could we be coming down into these areas? I do see a potential wick fill over here, right? Especially if we get strong US data. I see a potential wick fill to continue down to fill that wick, especially with that top wick formed on that weekly candle as well. You see the bearish pressure right now, but it's not guaranteed because right now this is a strong demand zone. Price likes to bounce off that area. We've already rejected last week too, but I do see this thing potentially continuing down. Okay, so right now looking at the daily here, Friday we got that rally, right? We were able to take a beautiful sell. A lot of us were able to capitalize on that on Friday, and then price ends up pulling right back into this area. It was expected, right? I mean, obviously not that day, but I was, that all came from fundamentals anyway, and the economic sentiment. But right over here, this move is due for some kind of a pullback at some point. And now we got a nice setup happening over here to start off our week. Can we continue down and retest that low? Nice and simple, break and retest on the daily. Looking at the 4 hour now, 4 hour seems to be, I'm going to mark that area off right over here. You got that support right over there, right? And price has held support in that area. The last time we ended up coming into this area, we held support right there with that bullish candle and this weak bearish candle. And then this candle closed with barely a bottom wick. This one grabbed liquidity down here, trapped a lot of sellers, and then ended up closing bullish. But right now we are holding resistance right in this area here. And we're starting to break out of that area and could potentially continue right back down. There's more optimism in the market over here. The dollar right now is pulling back a little bit. Right, we got that pullback on Friday, and now we're starting to hold some kind of a support right in that area, previous resistance. Can we continue this thing up? And if we do retest the high there, there's a possibility that we could end up continuing down and retesting 1956. So looking at the 1 hour now, 1 hour, we can just adjust here. So that's your range right there that we're sitting in. We need a strong bearish candle close outside of that area. I do like this 1 hour candle, right? This 1 hour candle, we are starting to reject 1972 800, but if we could close below that in the next 5 minutes, I could see this maybe continuing down. Now, this might be an area that you may need to take some profit, right? But you do have a fairly clean move coming all the way down into this area. But let's zoom out a little bit and see what's going on here. There you go. Fairly clean move to the left over here that we were able to mirror perfectly. And then we completely corrected that move coming back up into that area. But again, you're sitting in this range. I could see price holding the support and possibly even continuing back up to retest this high again or continue through that area. Right, we're not clearly through, any kind of buys just yet. Right, we could very well hold that support to continue up, but if we get that close below, you may want to take this. Yeah, we keep rejecting this level. Very strong level over here. Wick down into 1970, very critical level too. So we may be rejecting that area. I would want to close out of this area or some kind of a retest. And then we could take that down. Being that it's Monday, you may want to just wait for that retest, right? That might be your best scenario is just waiting for a retest on a Monday to take this thing down. As you can see, there's bullish pressure in this area as we're creating these higher lows. Price likes to pull back into these areas and then continue right back up. Pull back into that area, continue up. Same thing, right? Like we barely retest the lows over here. Very similar price action where we held support, created that low, pulled back. Can we retest that low? No, we hold the higher low, continue back up to create a new high. Can we retest the lows? We tap right into them, but then after that, we got that solid move up. We pull back. Can we retest the lows down here? No, higher low and continue that thing right back up. So now we got our previous support over here. Right, and now we're starting to see some kind of a rejection. Candle is probably going to close a strong 30-minute close, strong 1 hour with a bottom wick over here, but it's going to be closing above that area. You're better off waiting for that close below or some kind of a break and retest over here. And if we can hold a retest, we can hold a resistance right in that area, you could very well take this thing down. Clean move to the left. Make sense on gold? Go back to the higher time frames. Ask yourself too, what are the chances that the daily over here ends up retesting this low today? Kind of seldom, right? It's kind of low. Chances of this daily candle closing bearish right there with a wick to fill are pretty high. And the next one potentially creating that top wick, flipping bearish and continuing down, or doing something where it does that, where it pushes down and then boom, flips back up, holds that support, and we continue up with more fear in the market. That makes sense? I studied, I think, a ton of trades this past weekend, but at the same time, I would say 3 different examples where I've been taking these sells, very similar situation where we're in that uptrend, but you're playing the pullback over here, right? And price is at a very strong demand zone, right in this area. And this is more so in the lower time frames, like the 30-minute. And what happens is I take this sell, right? And I know that we're in that demand zone. I know we're in that demand zone over here. So what I'm looking to do is I'm just looking to grab 1-to-1. I'm looking to grab, my 10, 15 pips and just get out of the market or close 90%, stop loss right to break even in that situation, because price right after that ends up pulling right back and continuing up. If you guys go back in my journal, you'll be able to see that just this past year, right? So keep that in mind. When you're selling into this area and price is in an ultimate bullish trend here, make sure that you're, it's the perfect setup, and that's why you execute this. But make sure that you're securing majority of it down here or at the low, because a lot of times price will hold that support and bounce right up. And then potentially, knowing that that could happen, you could very well grab the other side of that trade and grab the buys to continue this up and mirror a move like this here. That makes sense to you guys?
Yeah.
This is where studying your trades, studying your setups really comes in handy, because you're able to predict some of these things. But let's see, 1 hour just closed. 4 hour looks very strong, right? You almost want to wait for the 4 hour here to close in the next hour, where the next one creates that top wick and continues down, and that'll be a beautiful move if we could get that. All right, so we did get a strong 1 hour close, but right at that support, right? So your problem is, where's your stop loss going to be? We held support right in that area in the past and pushed all the way back up to 1982 during London, and now we're right back at that area. I love this candle. That's the problem. Love that candle with the wick to fill for this thing to continue down. But we need to see a much better setup here before we end up taking something like that. We need to see a close below that area on a Monday. That could trap a lot of people. You lose the trade, lose your confidence to start the week off because it's a low probability trade. It's the ones that we're going to play out. Like 80 to 90% of the time, you want to take on that Monday, because that's your edge. And even if you lose that trade, you're going to take it again. And you're going to take it again and again and again, because you're that sure of, how often it plays out. This one, we're 50-50. Right? This one, as of late, we have been creating these higher lows since Friday. Early Friday over here.
Just for reference, they did close at 65.12 on Friday.
65.12.
$72 a share.
So looking over here, 15-minute did give us that bullish candle close. So are we going to form any kind of lower high anywhere in this area? Can we pull back into this 15-minute support over here and then continue back down? That's what I'm waiting for. Let's check out GJ again. So GJ, again, very strong 15-minute close. 1 hour candle, very strong close over here, right? Question is, let's say we do create this bottom wick over here and pass the high of that candle. Are you trying to squeeze 15 pips out of the market on a Monday? No. Very beautiful move over here. But if you wanted to grab this, it would have been right over here. It would have been that bounce that we keep talking about, off a higher time frame, bullish trend, bounce off of support, and that higher low that it's supporting. Just and you're retesting history. You're doing the same exact thing. Stop loss goes right below that wick. But right now, I'm just waiting for that pullback. This thing continues up without me, just like on Friday. I'm fine with that. What did we end up doing? We capitalized on gold. Right? And that was our trade. We stayed patient. And then what happened? This didn't give us the breakout. This didn't give us the break and retest continuation up, for the rest of the day on a Friday. It faked us out. So let's see what we can end up doing in this whole area right here. I'm actually gonna just mark it off. Need a pullback, any kind of setup like this on the 30-minute or the 15-minute, somewhere in this area, and then I could take that up.
Flat overall. These futures do see some slight divergence, so the overall tone is in fitting. Yes, the Nasdaq, they've been slightly more pressured than their Russell.
Looking at Monday here,
creation to Meta and Micron. So Meta with the name lower by around.
Take the reins here, Serge, if you don't mind. Looking at the monthly here, monthly again doesn't look much different. This is what we were just talking about when it comes to a higher time frame range, right? Very difficult to trade in. Are there situations that you can take a trade? Absolutely, right? We've been trading within this range and scalping within this range a lot the past couple weeks on US 30. I don't think I barely took any trades on US 30 this past week. I did that one. We was able to secure or cut any kind of losses. I took the two, didn't work out because beautiful setup, but we're ranging on the higher time frames. So that's why this thing was 50-50. That's why that trade right there looked like a beautiful setup, but ended up pulling right back. Right? We also had some optimism in the market. But those are the only two trades I took on US 30, keeping it to a limit here in these ranges. But looking at the weekly, last week we did end up closing bullish, even though we ended up retracing from that area on Friday. So right over here, this looks like a very strong demand zone. The price keeps bouncing off of, right? Price keeps bouncing off this area multiple times, but more importantly, the last rejection here, we ended up getting that bearish candle close, tapping into 33,000. We ended up pulling all the way back, closing a strong bearish candle right there. That's why we ended up pretty much filling that wick. But right now we're bouncing off that same level. Last week we ended up closing bullish from that level as well. Now it closed a lot weaker of a candle than the previous bearish candle. So are bulls really completely taking over, or are we just getting a pullback here and possibly even like a top wick formed before this thing flips bearish and continues down? Now, a lot has to do with the FOMC meeting minutes on Wednesday, right? We'll see what Powell has to say. We'll see where inflation sits. If inflation is anything, higher than expected over here, this thing might end up continuing right back down. Because it's going to signal to the Fed to continue to increase rates in June. And the chances, like I said, 0 to 15% to 40% to now 20% of a rate hike in June, that would end up definitely increasing by the end of this week if we get higher PCE. And that would hurt the U.S. market. So now looking over here, looks like we're getting some kind of a little bounce. Previous support over here. You got that resistance that we formed, but again, bounce off that area. Huge push up. We got that lower high formed right now. So now what is going on? Are we getting some kind of a top wick formed on this candle? Is this thing going to flip bearish and continue right back down with a clean move to the left? Right? Maybe. Only problem is we didn't create a new low down here, and we're consolidating on the higher time frames. So it's not like we created a new low. We know that this is a lower high, and we're probably going to create a new low. Right now, we're respecting that support. Not only that, but we technically created a higher low here. Right, so you're seeing the bears starting to exhaust a little bit. Just gonna mark that off right here. Yeah. Again, Friday ended up pulling back into that area and then ended up closing bearish, like we said. But looking at the 4 hour now, 4 hours interesting. 4 hour is interesting. Let's just trying to see a few things here. That makes sense. See, you don't want to be in the business of forcing trend lines. I mean, we are creating these higher lows over here. But more importantly, what we're doing is creating like higher lows from this area too. right? You're seeing the bullish pressure. Look what happened last time. We tapped off of 32,950. Liquidity grab, pulled all the way back to that area before creating that lower high, and then coming right back to the same area to hold that higher low here, and then another big push. More importantly, what we got was higher low formed here, high created, higher low formed here. Are we going to create a new high? Right? Are we going to at least retest that high? So far in the 4 hour, it looks like it possibly could. You got a clean move to the left. Got that 4 hour candle close right over here at 5 a.m. Or actually at what's it called? What was this? At 2 a.m. And then you have the 6 a.m. candle creating that bottom wick, passing the high of the candle. But we have a rejection area here that a lot of people can get trapped with. So I think if you close above this area over here by 10 a.m., get that clean move to the left, especially with more optimism. Remember, Powell and not Powell, McCarthy and Biden are meeting today. So any kind of optimism with those talks, this thing will continue up. Yeah, looking at the 1 hour, this is your consolidation, Quentin. Hold on one second. All right. So now we're sitting in this consolidation on the 1 hour, right? Price keeps rejecting this area. Here's that history. Boom. Hard rejections from these areas here, right? Now, again, this 1 hour candle, this is where a lot of people get trapped, trying to take these breakouts here. This 1 hour candle closed with no top wick, right? This candle is now creating that top wick, flipping bearish. I'm not saying I'm looking to take a sell here, right? That's not enough for me to see. I'd rather not do something like that. I think safe sells will be below 33,320. We'll go to the 30-minute just to double check that and rearrange some of our setups, levels here. Yeah, that should be all right. Clean move to the left over here. But again, this is very easy to break down here. Stay out of there. This is what I'd be looking at to trade in. So wait for that close above that area. I'm liking the price action so far. You're getting these higher lows formed, right? You got the clean move to the left. So if we get a strong close above that area, you could take this thing up. It's definitely enough pips for you to grab. 135. Down here is probably going to be about 84. Ooh, 96. Close. So this is where you guys should start journaling. Start taking little screenshots, seeing what's going on. Looks like GJ's having a little trouble up here. You could tell it's going to be pulling back at some point. Look at the lower time frames. It's the 1 minute. Still creating these higher lows. But I could see this thing pulling back down into that area before it ends up holding support and continuing back up. Or I could see it pulling back even harder back down into here to continue back up. But it's good to see we're holding this support here. Looking good. But there's no entry right there. The gold 1 hour candle still pulling back here. 30-minute. These candles are very weak here in the 5 minute, but we're holding support. All right. So now what I want to do is take a few screenshots here. Have a new week. Serge, do you see all my replies on the group Trello? 21 to 26.
I've seen one from last week, but Today I haven't checked yet. I was busy
Okay.
this morning.
Okay.
Was in the hospital for 3 hours doing interpreting. So
Oh, for work?
yeah, couldn't make to the gym, so maybe go later.
Okay.
Busy morning, you know.
What's up?
Busy morning.
Yes, sir.
Just wake up and straight to work.
Hey, man, it keeps you busy, right?
Yeah.
The devil is where the empty schedule lies. Well, the only problem is you can't work on yourself, your own dreams, you know. Does everyone have Trello on their phones?
Yeah, I got it on my phone.
Beautiful. Highly recommend whenever you feel like checking Instagram, checking social media, go to Trello instead. Right?
Yeah, I got recently as well. It's got all the notification. It's quite good app, you know, you can see
Oh, yeah.
everything.
Oh yeah. I was so pissed on what was it, Friday, when I headed back home. Forgot my backpack that had my laptop, I had my iPad, I had like everything. And I was so mad. I'm like, damn, like I needed to get my work done. So I literally had to use my phone the entire time. I've always had that app, but you know, I really used it today or this weekend. Reviewing trades on it. Typically what I like to do is review trades by using my iPad to look at the screenshots, and then I use my phone to type up the description. It's typically my process, but now I was doing both, and it really wasn't that bad. Wow. Daily 8:15. Give me 1 second, guys.
Just a bit more from Micron at the JPM Investor Day. They do say
All right. Let's see. Let's see. The 1 hour. Also, guys, keep in mind, like your edge in the market, your edge over here, majority of the time, this is not continuing up, right? The majority of the time, this is going to pull back and then continue back up. So that's important to keep in your mind. Look at that. Price action left. And then as soon as we're done with this, we're going to get into consolidation topic. There we go. See, we're pulling back here. Forex open for gold. Still holding that support. George, what are you thinking in the markets right now? What are you looking for?
You're asking me?
Yes, sir.
Well, I only trade gold, and it's like in the range now, so we need to wait what's happened. I kind of more prone to sell it because it's still under like in a downtrend on 4 hours.
Yes.
And dollar is over 103. So it's like doesn't want to go down. Yields pushing up, but yields.
Just a quick update on yields.
But yields here, they are getting to the resistance as well, so it's kind of tricky.
Yeah, I think it's a wait and see game on gold, especially when it comes to the daily. If you're looking at the daily here, this daily candle most likely will close like this, right? Coming into this area, previous support, holding that resistance. Let's see if we could get that strong daily close somewhere in this area, hopefully below 1973. And then with a wick to fill, tomorrow we create that top wick and pass the low and continue down. But you want to secure majority of this anywhere around exactly right here, right? This is probably an area that you're going to want to secure majority of your trade if you're taking something like that. I could see like price definitely tapping into the candle bodies here, but at any point, price could tap off this area and shoot up.
Yeah, we have no news today as well, so it might just go up and down.
Yeah, exactly. No news. Consolidation day. Take a look at Monday. This is why we do this now, where we journal our session, even though we don't end up taking anything. This was Monday last week on gold. Daily, 4 hour. Looks like a little fake out there on the 4 hour, strong 4 hour bearish candle. Got a consolidation here on the 1 hour now. We got price tapping off 2020 over here, continuing down. It's the 30-minute, very similar. We're sitting there waiting for a support to form or price to break below that support and maybe continue down, but we don't want to take anything here. Safe sells below 2009. What do we get? Little fake out, or not a fake out, but actually I think it was ended up, yeah, it did kind of end up being a fake out technically here on the 30 minute, but wouldn't really count that as such because we are just consolidating. But this is 4 hour after, 1 hour, 30 minute. This is 9:42 a.m. This is the 1 hour, 30 minute, and price just ranging all in this area. 30 minute at 4 p.m. 349. Right, so gold could very well end up giving us the same exact thing today. You may want to stay out. Wow. So Quinn, are you there?
Yeah.
Do you kind of want to break down, like I was telling everyone what you're looking to do here, but you want to kind of break down what you're looking to do and talk about exactly with consolidations?
Yes, I was trying to narrow down like the different kinds of setups we take and be able to like study a specific market context so that like we can see, okay, in that context it tends to do that, when it does that it tends to do this. And so not solely study instances where there is a trade to take, but more study every time there's this context, what does the market tends to do and why. And
Okay.
so just randomly every time, like I took the charts, I took the gold chart, and I started like maybe January 15 or something, and every time I saw a consolidation on the 1 hour I was just taking pictures of it. So
Beautiful.
just to randomly take every consolidation and not have the bias in choosing like particular consolidation that all end up the same way, to not have that bias, and just like study them to know when you have the next consolidation in the live market pop up, then you know, okay, this is the probability that this is going to happen, this and that. And so I just with as little markup as possible so that you can markup on top of it and explain what you see and give us your insights into it.
Love it, man. So basically what we just did with gold. We're looking at last Monday. Something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, let's dig into it. Damn, it's the hold on. Weekly, daily. Oh, the daily. Yeah, we have a lot of economic data coming out this week. So today might be that sit on your hands kind of day. Don't force anything. Definitely don't force anything. So looking at US 30 here, this is where a lot of people could be getting trapped as well. Where like, all right, we got that candle closed with no top wick. This candle created that top wick, flip bearish, continue down. All right, we're not taking those buys. But now we end up flipping bullish, right? So now a lot of people are getting trapped again. Wait for the close above. And maybe they're not getting trapped, but they're taking trades too early. 30 minutes. This area keeps getting rejected multiple times. And also, not only that, but look at these wicks all in that area. Multiple times here, we end up rejecting. So if we get a strong close above that area, higher chance that we're going to break through those wicks and mirror the move to the left. I'm actually going to journal that, screenshot there. 30 minute. About 15 minute. Okay. Let's see. Over the pullback. Now, looking over here, it's a perfect example for you, Quentin. Look at what the 15-minute here looks like on gold today compared to Monday. The Monday 30-minute. Right? Look like we're breaking through that area. We get that close above. Price breaks up. But then, obviously it's not like it's giving us really that much of a trade to take. Right? But it's doing something very similar over here. Right? So we end up consolidating in this area. Maybe tap into that area, but continue to reject and continue back down. But I do think that we're going to form some kind of a resistance over here and then continue down. But we're faking out a lot of sellers right now. So let's go over to okay, so this is Tuesday, January 17th, Asian session. Okay. So it looks like we got that resistance formed right in this area, 1918. Obviously holding our support right over here. Hard bearish candle push from that area right now. 8 p.m. 30-minute ended up getting a fake out, closing below. This, I mean, after a close like this, Quentin, is that something you might want to take a sell on?
Yeah, as a fake out.
Yeah. 100%.
But yeah. But before that, so how do you look at the fact that we get the close above, like we get the rejection bearish candle above our resistance, and then this nice 30-minute bullish candle, and then the next one passes the high but ends up flipping bearish and trading the fake out?
How would you avoid taking that buy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you asking me?
Yeah.
Okay. So avoiding taking that buy, I'm not that big of a fan of this setup. Right? Like we do have the higher low here, right? But then we got that, this is the 30-minute. That was a rejection right there. Last time we tapped into that area to create that wick, we got another rejection right here. But then we get the liquidity grab and a bullish candle close, right? The only way I would take this is if this candle created a bottom wick and started passing pretty much this wick right here, right? This candle would have to break through this wick, but also you might want to wait for it to break through that wick as well. And your stop loss would be below that candle. And if you lost it, I mean, at least you waited, for more than just waiting after this candle ended up closing bullish right there, because it's a liquidity grab. So like we created that high, that rejection right there, grab liquidity, close bullish, but not a strong bullish, right? We're still closing within this area. This candle would have to be a lot stronger of a candle, closing like something like this. Right? If we got a close like that, I could see us putting a stop loss below that area, and you could enter after that candle closed, because it kind of negated this candle, and we're holding some kind of a support here, and grab liquidity and close a strong body. But we grab liquidity and close like a weak body. It's not like there's so many bulls like really taking over here.
Okay.
Get
Would
what
you
I'm
look
saying?
at it any differently if it was New York?
If this was New York, no, same thing. It's giving you the same candles.
Okay.
So I would still need price to
Okay.
break above. Like, you don't even have to pay attention to this session right now.
All right.
It helps. It does help. I wouldn't say don't pay attention to the session, but just mainly seeing how these candles are forming here. These are not strong enough for me, no matter what session it is, for me to want to take a buy yet. I would need this candle to pass the high of that wick. And then if you go into my journals, you'll see, some impulse entries that I take. They're not necessarily after we pass the high of the immediate candle. It's after we pass like a wick before that ended up rejecting. It's after we pass through the area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but once you get a candle like this, knowing that this was a weak setup, trying to hold that support, knowing a lot of buyers are getting trapped here, right? Stop loss gets taken out with that candle, most likely. But then you get a strong body with a wick to fill, faking those candles out. We had this impulsive move coming all the way down, respected this resistance. Last time we tapped into that resistance, what did we do? We retested this support. Now you get a candle like that, stop loss right above, and you take that wick fill and take this thing down. Make sense?
Yeah.
It's a great idea doing this. The 15-minute. Yeah, see how the 15-minute, the range was really like kind of right here?
Yeah.
Yeah. 4-hour candle. Look at that. No top wick, no bottom wick. Really pulling back from this area, 1924. The previous daily candle closed bearish as well. Top wick form, flipping bearish. Passing the low. So that was that one. Good job. Okay, so this was after. What is this exactly? Just go back to... GJ's continuing up there. I'm okay missing GJ. Not my setup. Quentin, you there?
Yeah.
What are you looking at on this one?
Sorry?
What are you looking at on this one? Like how are you feeling about like this setup right here in this time frame on the 1 hour? So we ended up retesting that low over here.
Yeah, and now we're getting the close below the support.
Is this a close here?
Yeah, this is the close.
Okay.
So, yeah, I took all of the pictures are like from trading view, so every time there's a picture, it's from the candle close because
True.
we can't get the candle in the middle.
Very true.
So yeah, this is the 1 hour close below support where I believe we're in a higher time frame bullish trend. So you want to be careful taking like counter trend trades, but here this is a strong candle, so I'd eventually be looking at a top wick forming, then this candle flips. Depends on the lower time frames if I can maybe take it on the flip or break at the low.
Yep, this is a setup where if we create this top wick right here, reject that area and pass the low of that candle, flip bearish, and I have my stop loss maybe like somewhere up here, and this didn't play out, I wouldn't be that upset about it. I may be looking back on it and being like, you know what, let's wait for the classic break and retest here to take this down. That might be the best area, but the reason I would take that as a breakout, especially if we got that top wick and pass the low, is because majority of the time that'll work out, especially after a fake out. Right? You get that move coming down, you end up getting this fake out. This candle closes below with a wick to fill. Fairly clean move to the left. You may have to worry about this area right here. That might be the reason why you want to wait for the break and retest. But you know, that's something I would take majority of the time if we got to close like this. Now the 30-minute is a little iffy, but I do like it. Right? What happened was here, this candle closed. This candle closed a strong bearish. This is where I would enter this trade right here, right after this candle closed. Right, secure majority of it at this area, and maybe I'd be looking for a re-entry right here to continue this down. But this would be during Asian, correct? Or is this getting into pre-London?
So I'd say this is still Asian.
So Asian, okay. So there's not much volume. So this would probably be the only trade that I took for the session. Right,
This must be like 10 or 11 p.m.
Okay. But what I'm looking at on these candles is strong bearish close with a wick to fill. Another very strong body over here. Top wick formed, respected the high of the previous candle, flip bearish but closed a weak body. But then what we ended up getting was a strong body candle with a wick to fill, which tells me there's still a lot of bearish volume in the market with a clean move to the left over here. Right now, the difficult part is setting a stop loss, especially when you have a candle like this pulling back like that before continuing down. So let's see what we end up getting here. Okay, so we're pulling back here on the 15-minute, maybe a break and retest on the 15-minute. Yeah, see, I don't like that right there. Oh, looking at the 30-minute, I would stay patient. I don't like this candle close right there just yet, but after that close. So you take it after that close, top wick forms, past the low of the previous candle. Your stop loss could go right over here, or if you want, you could put it right over there. You'll still get the 1-to-1. Looking at GJ. Yeah, GJ continuing up. Yeah, this is fine, Lewis. This is what I was talking about. This is fine if it continues up like this, right? We would need that close above this area over here for me to continue this thing up. Now, again, could have taken this down here, right? This little break and retest of this area. Especially after this candle closed, bottom wick form past the high of the previous candle and continues up. That could have been a potential entry. But we really did get almost the same setup here. And price continued up from there. But it, price can move. As you guys know, price can move without giving you an entry. And that's okay. Now, what I am interested in here, not gold, but US 30 now. What time frame was that? The 15-minute. 15-minute is giving an interesting setup over here. I don't think I want to buy into all this, especially on the 15-minute during New York here, but this might be a day I sit out. I need a strong close above that area. Yeah, look at all these rejections over here to the left. Lewis, are you in GJ? Is that why you're asked? Or you're just watching it?
No, I'm just watching it.
What are your
I
thoughts?
was thinking I would. No, I'm not in.
No, I'm saying, what are your thoughts on this?
Oh no, I thought maybe it could have given me an entry after he closed above like 172.2. He closed on the 1 hour and the 30-minute, the little resistance right there, and then the next candle on the 15 minutes did support, like held like a little support and respected that support. And I was thinking of maybe taking a buy on the flip of the current 30-minute candle, but I don't like how close it is to that resistance, like that where you have it right there too. So that's why I didn't take it.
100%. If this is 50 pips, sure. But it's only how many you're saying on the break of that candle?
So like I have a little resistance on 172.25. Like if you look on the left, I have a little resistance over right there, and it closed above it. And there's 25 pips in between there and the next resistance, but that's not really what I'm looking for on Monday. So
Yeah, exactly. You just said it on a Monday. Like I'm okay missing that, right? I don't need to force anything or squeeze anything out of the market on a Monday. And on a Wednesday, Thursday, we're getting data coming out. We have the support holding, got a big enough range right there, maybe. But it's just not my setup, right? It's not. I'm not comfortable buying at the high up here just to grab these pips. I want to grab this move from the bottom over here during pre-New York and London, right? And then take this up. Or we could have potentially grabbed this breakout right over here to continue up based on what happened on Friday here. More specifically right there. Got pretty much the same move. We could have taken that, but again, I wish this was more on a higher time frame day or a higher volume day than a Monday.
yeah, exactly.
But like I said, what I can see happening here, I don't see how much farther this daily ends up pushing with not much economic data coming out, but I'd love to see a strong daily candle closing over here, and then the next one creates a bottom wick, pulls back into this range, passes the high of these two, and then we could take this thing up tomorrow. Right? Now this is a strong resistance here on the 4 hour. We corrected this entire move up right over here. Now, just like what ended up happening on Friday over here, correcting this entire move up, the same thing could very well end up happening over here. I don't think it's going to happen, but it could. You know, this whole candle pretty much corrected that whole move. And we, continue down and close below. All right, we got the 1 hour. Pushing. Yeah, I really like there's a couple different things here, especially here. You can really put your stop loss right there. Got to be careful with that level right there. But this close above that resistance, right? But this would have been the best. Right off that key area, support, grab this entire move up. There's 100 pips right there. During if you took that during London. So let's see what it ends up giving us. Gold still nothing. US 30 rejecting. Oh, let's see, Quentin. Here we go. So Quentin, do you see what I'm talking about here? That's a nice break retest. You might want to put your stop loss above this candle right here, though. But I do like, holding that resistance, not entering after a candle like that, but entering after a candle like this closed. This one created that bottom wick or top wick and pass below that candle. With a clean move to the left over here, you take that thing down. Secure at 1-to-1. 1 hour looks good. 15-minute. So that would have pulled back into this area. This is why Asian is a little off. But this is why I would have put that stop loss right up here. Secured at 1-to-1. Being that it's Asian, stop loss at break even. And we would have probably been stopped off at break even. And it could have been maybe, you would have gone to bed after you secured, stop loss at break even, stopped at break even, and price continued down a little bit, a little bit more, but then ultimately fake that level out. And you would have been.
This is London then.
This is London. Yeah, London. I could tell like these candles are getting much bigger, so there's more volume. This is London open.
So this is the 30 minutes. So this was 2 a.m. This is London open.
So with London open coming in, and the fact that we're creating these lower highs, right? We hold that resistance. We pulled back into that area. Bearish doji, bearish pretty much doji, and then that candle closed right there. You could potentially take this thing down. Stop loss above here or above that wick.
Why would you not take? What keeps you out of entering like here?
Where? Oh, off of this candle?
Yeah, once it like breaks the lows of the previous candles.
I didn't see
on
that
the 1
because
hour it looked.
Yeah, because
now
it
we see
is
that
bullish.
it was bullish. But
Yeah. Let me go look at the other time frames here. Because that might very well be a trade that I would have taken first. Yeah, I mean it looks good on the 1 hour where you got that close below, weak bearish candle close. That's where those rules could come into play, especially like waiting for the classic break and retest here. Let me see the 30-minute.
or counter trend.
Yeah, and also like this candle doesn't have much of a bottom wick. Right? Like and if that was the case and I were to take this break and retest over here, I would not want to put my stop loss right there. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to grab this whole move to the left over here, you may have to put your stop loss a little bit wider. I'm not saying that you wouldn't have gotten stopped out by that wick and I would have put my stop loss right there. That's not realistic because we already see what's happening. But I would maybe want to put my stop loss above this candle. But this is really why I don't really like to trade Asian, because it doesn't give you the classic break and retest that you would want, or the classic breakout that you would want. Oh, that's pretty cool. Creates a QR code for this image. So it's a little tricky. But I don't know if I would be entering that break and retest right there. But keep studying this. Like when you get, especially during Asian over here. Oh, did he just leave? May have lost connection. Let's go back to our pairs for a second. Okay, so US 30 is really rejecting that area. Look at all the other times it's rejected. So we've retested the high here on GJ. Looks great, just no entry. Not get what I wanted. Gold pulled back. Look at that. What did we say? There was a good chance we pulled back anywhere into that area and maybe hold the resistance, because I don't see. I see the daily end up closing bearish, right? Just like we want with the bottom wick. I don't see if that's going to happen. I don't see us pulling back into this area again and then continuing down. I don't see the daily candle flipping bullish and then bearish again. Get what I'm saying? But the 4-hour candle is going to be closing in the next 10 minutes. US 30 rejecting that area. US 30 is dog shit. I think GJ at any point today might be your play, but just keep in mind, like I said, what the daily could end up closing like. Right? Like, are we going to be able to push through this whole area today? Or are we just going to get a strong daily candle close over here? Maybe a top wick. Next one is going to be your move. Tomorrow is going to be your move where we pass the high of that candle. We see that area to the left here too. A little bit of a gap right here. 172,500 seems to be a strong level here. If you take a look, that was that top wick right there. That was that top wick of that candle. After we closed below that level, top wick formed right at that level and then continued down from there. So could we end up, that's our resistance right now. We're breaking through that area. Man, must have a lot of optimism in the market today. Let's check out currencies. The yen is pretty weak today. Yeah, look at the yen. Yen is losing against all major currencies that it's up against right over here. All these currencies are up at least 0.5%. Couple GBP pairs are up pretty much for the day, but GPY is all down.
Because US yields pumping up, and
Yeah.
that's why.
Yeah,
But they are kind of at resistance now, so 3.712.
Serge, send over your yields chart.
Okay.
Take a look. USD JPY is up as well. And that's countries. Okay. Oh yeah, yeah. I think 2-year yields are up too, right? Around like 4%. Or was that last week?
I always looking for the 10 years.
Always
It's
10?
like,
Okay.
I don't look for the shorter ones. 10 is like baseline for everything, I think. That's why everybody uses it.
Can you trade yields at all?
I
mean,
think
you can.
you can trade everything, whatever
Yeah.
you got up.
You
You
can.
can
I'm
trade
just
the
saying.
weather forecast as well.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, look at that breaking through there. So like I said, I think on GJ, I don't see the daily going much farther here. Well, let's see. There he is.
Progress.
I think we're kind of rejecting here. What's up, Quinn?
Oh no, my laptop does not want to open Zoom anymore.
Doesn't. That's the worst. I hear my echo. All right, guys. So that is a session here. Quinn, I want to break down the rest of these. This is great, by the way. I love what you're doing over here. So you made this public. Is this have the ability to edit?
Can you edit it? That's good. Your question?
Yeah.
I was, yeah, you can. I was writing stuff in it. I don't know if it has updated for you yet.
I'm sure it has. On the last one we did, here we go. On the 30-minute 2 week of a bullish candle to take buys on the break of the wick, you would at least want to wait for price to pass the rejection wicks. Yep. Also looking at the other time frame, previous 4-hour candle doesn't have that top wick. 15-minute has a resistance up top of the close. I like it. Okay. Now also right in here how you would catch that fake out, the 30-minute sell.
Yeah.
Right here.
I wrote a little some yeah. It's good. I mean, it's kind of obvious how you would take that fake out to me, I feel like. And so I just wrote in the next card, I wrote like better entry for sales is the fake out.
Okay. This is what I like to do for you guys on the group Trello. When you guys add your trades in the group Trello, sometimes there's a better entry that I see there, and this is what you'll typically see me do, and then I'll label it as like Stefanos entry right here. So like what I would do is here, entry, stop loss, write it in like Greek letters, and then take profit would be somewhere down here. Actually, it'd be the first one. I would take some off right here, and then probably close a lot of it right here. Another TP, and then I would take this. Do you want me to put this in there, Quentin, or leave it alone?
Yeah, you can put it there.
Okay. So then this is how we do the group Trello. Stefanos, take out capitalization. There you go. So I was gonna see if you know, this is your board, so like if you don't want anyone adding to it, don't worry about it. But like if other people have, you know, consolidations that they have questions about, they can add it to this this column over here, or they could create another column if they want to go over other setups that they have questions about, like a you know, a breakout trade with candles not closing above the resistance. Well, you know, what's a good example of that, right? That's a big one that we can cover, or any other setup. But you know, if you want to create a different one for that, you can, and then this one's yours. That's up to you. But great job, man. I love this.
Oh yeah, if you want to like share the link and anybody could add up anything to that like shared Trello board, and then we can use that one to for the stream specifically.
I'll make an announcement right over here after the stream in here, and just let everyone know exactly what you're doing, and what you're looking to do here, and see what people think, and they'll have the
Yeah.
link there if they want to add things.
Because I know myself, I have like I have a hard time coming up with things to discuss on the stream. So actually preparing it before and knowing what you want to discuss when you get on and having like stuff ready, like makes it way easier. So we can like
100%.
have more valuable stuff and have your insight on more stuff.
100%. And that's why I always say, like, sometimes it's difficult coming up with things to talk about on these streams, if we don't have like questions to answer. You know what I'm saying? If you guys have questions, you may not even realize that you have questions, but off the stream, write these things down. Like, I use my notes app for everything. I write everything down, things that I learned for the day, things that I just want to think about. One thing Alex Hormozy I learned from, that a lot of what he tweets, a lot of his actual tweets are just thoughts that he has that he typically writes down in the notes app, but now they're just tweets and they're open to the public, which is a great idea. But when I heard that, I was like, I do the same exact thing. I write everything down in my notes app. But after the stream, before the streams, write things down, write different questions that you guys have about your own trading, and how we can discuss things that will help that moving you guys forward. So that, because when I'm helping you guys and teaching you guys, like there could be a ton of nuggets in what I'm teaching you, and I don't even realize I'm saying it. It's just like what I'm thinking about that one specific setup, or one specific subject. So it helps for you guys to write notes, go back, review these things, write them down. I used to go back and rewatch every single live stream of Rakil's. And after we were done, as soon as he was done, he closed the stream. I go right to YouTube and go rewatch it. Let's speed it up, but write down all the notes that I could possibly get on it. Get obsessed, boys. All right.
Yes, sir, for sure.
All right. Well, you guys have a great day. I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Like I said, get through those daily musts. Get obsessed with reviewing your trades, like Quentin is getting here now, being a professional. It's amazing to see. And all these actions that he's taking now are going to feed into his success in the next month. He's going to start to really feel this with his actual trading account within the next month, maybe even a couple weeks. But I think a lot of success of what Lewis is having in the past couple of weeks has been due to reviewing previous trades, but also just staying really patient and treating his trading like a professional, and not like gambling.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, have a great day. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Let me know if you take anything, but I most likely might stay out of the market today. I'm very content sitting on my hands, and I'll be back testing majority of the day on my side screen here. But have a great day. If you have any questions, let me know. All right.
All right, man.
See you, boys.
Man.